Are you a co-host? Are you looking to generate more highly valuable and qualified leads and close them through a sales process? That's what we're covering today. If you don't know who I'm Bill Faith. I'm the founder of Build Short-Term Rental Wealth. I'm an investor and a co-host just like you. Most importantly, I'm approaching $1 billion in sales and my 37 bootstrap startups. So I've got a little bit of experience in regards to building businesses, exiting businesses, and building sales teams. And that's really what I want to talk about today because I see a lot of you get stuck that want to do co hosting to generate more cash flow. You might use it for whatever, to leave your W 2. You could use it to build your coffers so you can buy real estate, whatever that is. In my opinion, there's a lot of bad information out there and how to generate new sales and how to generate leads. And I think that there's a lot of people that get it right. It's just not in the SDR space. I think one of the best sales guys in this kind of realm, and it's a lot of you will think that it's not applicable, is my friend Jerry Norton. He's Flipping Mastery on Instagram. Jerry is a tremendous salesperson and he teaches sales for wholesalers, but it's kind of applicable if you learn those strategies and apply them to co hosting. So I'm going to take a standard sales strategy and I'm going to show you how to implement this for co-hosting because a lot of people are trying to teach you the old school wholesaling way and just skip tracing and sending out direct mailing pieces and kind of just really it's the big fishing net kind of approach. I want to be much more targeted in who I am co-hosting for. And I want to give you a little quantification. So I posted my Instagram stories today, basically if you follow me at all, you know how I have built my owned portfolio. I want the least amount of properties generating the highest amount of revenue. I just closed on a $3 million single family home. I should do somewhere around $400,000 a year in revenue for that. I sold a 1.7 million beachfront 3.2 for that. One, because when I leverage tax benefits, when I leverage appreciation, and most importantly, the cash flow, I'm going to double what I'm doing at that $1.7 million beach house. So instead of buying two properties, there's no question I could take my almost $1 million basis in the sale of that property that I've owned for just 2 years and deploy that across three properties and probably make a little bit more money. But that's not what I'm about. I'm about maximizing my time and my effort. So I'd rather roll it into one big property that has two houses on it that I can, rent the guest house, which is a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and I'm adding 5 king size beds into the garage and 2 bathrooms. So that'll sleep 14. The main house, which is actually going to end up being smaller because I'm going to turn the garage into a game room, and that'll sleep 10 or 12, I think, depending on what my wife ends up doing with configuration and the design process. So roughly 26 combined. So I create three opportunities here, right? Guest house, main house, individual listings, put them together, and now I've got the mega super property. Now let's take it one step further. I'm building my own learning center on the back of the property because I can't even remember exactly what it is, somewhere between 5 and 6 acres. So I'm actually going to house you guys there. I'm going to teach there. So that's a whole nother revenue stream that I'm going to generate. Less time, more money. So I look at my time money valuation as much as I look at just trying to make money, to be honest with you, in my own process. And the reason I share this with you is I built my co hosting the exact same way. Just shared in my story an example of when you target the right clients. Had a $3,900 payout for 1 week. Most of you don't make that in a month. Some of you aren't making that in a quarter because you're taking all these low level Vacasa bullshit leads and you're just trying to get as many properties as you can closed and under your umbrella. Well, if you want to be really good at this, we need to be strategic on the business model, which means we need to be strategic in our sales process, in our prospecting process. And it's not just go to a market, skip trace, and then blast everybody that's there. We want to be very targeted for high value leads. Now, I do agree with the Vacasa approach and targeting them, but don't just target anything that's on there. Don't just target a property that's making 40 grand that you can take to 50 because who wants to work all year long for 10,000 bucks? Sure, you can stack 10 of them on top of each other and make 100 grand, but let me share something with you. That $3,997 payout, that $4,000 payout is not an anomaly. So I have had that consistently for two back-to-back properties that I co-host for the entire summer, meaning we've averaged almost $3,700 a 7-day turn starting the first week of June. So let's put those together. We're talking 8 grand. That's $32,000 in June. That's $32,000. In July, that's $64,000. I'll even round it down to 60K in my commission, not gross rents, in my commission in 2 months. It's peak season. There is no question. But these properties are going to generate roughly $900,000 between the two of them in gross revenue. And then I have other properties. I've got 6 bedroom, 5 beachfront property that right now I'm making about 1,800 a week. I've got another beach property that's tier two doors down from mine, making about $1,400 a week. So do the math. This is how I can make an easy $500,000 a year, and my commission, not in gross revenue, and my operational expenses are virtually nothing, as you guys know, off of targeting the right type of properties to go in and co-host. And you can do the exact same thing. So here's what I want to kind of walk you through. The first thing that you have to do is build out a sales process. This means that you need to understand the flow, and it all starts with how you're going to do lead generation. So I'm going to throw all that, direct mailer piece. And I mean, look, if you own properties like I do, you get these direct mailers from property management companies all the time. And I open them just to laugh. I might start creating, like a little collection. You know how you do with your kids stuff and you put their first pair of shoes and their first report card and blah, blah, blah. Might start doing. I'm just going to create a box of all the shitty, direct mail pieces that I get from them. So here's the way that I do it and the way that I teach people in my inner circle. And that's the inner circle right there. And also in my co-hosting masterclass. So you can get a link down below if you're interested in the co-hosting masterclass. I think it's probably one of the most valuable things I've done for co-host, but I'm going to give you as much as I can here today on the podcast. So number one is we need a sales process. That all starts with how are you going to do your lead generation? For me, when I'm doing lead generation, I go into one market, just one. And I want to go in and I want to dominate that market and I want to become the person of interest. So you can go and you can hire somebody on Fiverr, have them skip trace for you, grab, the couple of hundred addresses. Then you can do the direct mailer piece. And if you're really smart, you'll about a week ahead of time, you'll start running Facebook ads into that market, right? Or you can do what I do, and you go ahead and I will skip trace if I need to. I'll create a custom audience inside of Facebook. I'll run Facebook ads, but I'm not selling them anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give them the value proposition and the case study off of what I've already done inside of that market. So when I take these two Outer Banks properties and I show other Outer Banks owners that literally in the first summer, not even in the first year, that we have already hit in 5 months worth of bookings, almost $680,000. We'll break 750, maybe 800 by the end of August to literally show them, wow, what you guys are doing 300, 400 in a year, and we can average 350 to 400 in 5 months without September, October, November, December, January, and February. That's a compelling story that everybody would want to target. So I'm going to skip trace. I'm going to get their information. I'm going to build one custom audience. I'm only doing this once. I don't have to do this every time that I want to acquire customers. Then I'm going to run $5 a day Facebook ads for about 3 weeks. So that's 21 days. That's like $115. That's nothing. And I'm going to lead that into hosting a free training session online, a Zoom. I'm also going to go into the owners groups and I'm going to post a case study and I'm going to tell them how I've done this. Right? Probably going to do a video if I can, if the group will allow it. If not, I'll type it out and copy. And I'm going to let them know, hey, you know what? In 2 Tuesdays from now in 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing a free training session for owners only. So I can show you exactly how I've done this on my own with this case study. You don't have to go buy Zoom or anything like that. If you have a free account, you can do 40 minutes on a Zoom. You literally run 30 minutes, no sales, no pitch, zero, nada, nothing. And you just teach them. Literally, that's 30 minutes. Take no more than 4 things. That's 7.5 minutes each. 4 things. Could be revenue management, listing optimization, redesign, whatever you do. And you teach them that. And then at the end, you take 10 minutes of Q&A. And if you can just get 10 to 12 people and you do a good job teaching and educating, you should generate a close ratio of roughly between 20 to 30%. If you have your presentation ready, meaning your pitch deck. So you've presented them and you've taught them, you've educated them, but you got to have your pitch deck ready and you need to have, and that pitch deck should only be 3 slides, just FYI. It's going to be your value propositions, a synopsis of your case study, and then what you can do for them. and you can have your commissions, your fees, your setup fee, everything on that last slide, or you just immediately schedule a call to go over it with them one on one, which is what I recommend. So now that's your process, right? So you're running Facebook ads. A lot of people are sending them to landing pages, sales pages. You need to test that conversion and do a lead ad conversion inside of Facebook and a sales page, and then test the conversion rates on both of those. Then you host a webinar. You need to make sure that you have follow up between the time that they sign up all the way to the webinar to make sure that they show up. And I'm not just talking about reminding them, I'm talking about creating more value proposition for them. So if you're going to go over those 4 things, I want you to pick 3 other unique value propositions that they're probably not doing. You can identify this by doing the enemy method and researching within that market to see what the overall market deficiencies are. And then make sure you have 3 email communications with them telling them about these 3 things, and that you're going to give them the 3 bonuses inside of this training, right? And always leverage your power stats. Once you go through that training, you can use Calendly. You can schedule them however you want. Schedule them immediately. Don't let them hang up and get off the Zoom and move. So you got to be pretty efficient in that last 10 minutes. But then you follow up with a Calendly, and that's where you give them your pitch deck, you give them the presentation, you reiterate your case studies one more time, and then you have your contract ready to go. Now, here's a key that I really want you guys to understand from the sales perspective. If you get the husband, which I am, you need to make sure and ask him if he needs to have his wife on this training. If you have the wife or you have whoever, make sure that you get over those objections ahead of time. And you need to record this, because as you record it, you're going to fail more than you're going to be successful in the first couple of times that you do this, unless you are a seasoned sales professional. So make sure that you record it so that way you can learn what you're doing. That's one of the things. One, you don't want to email you don't want to email your pitch deck. 2, you don't want to email your contract. So when you get somebody on that sales call, you have your pitch deck ready to present, you have your contract ready for them to sign, you hit send. Hey, Bob, I just sent you the contract. Let's run through it real quick. And are you ready to sign it? Go ahead and sign it while we're here. We'll get started, blah, blah, blah. You cannot email that to them, because when you email something like that to them, they're just going through all the objections in the world. That's a whole nother reason why you want to have the spouse on this call with them in case they need to make a decision, so they don't use the adage, hey, I got to discuss this with my husband or wife, as an objection. The goal to become a great salesperson is to be able to get over those objections prior to having that sales meeting. So we want to get this to a 1 call close. So you're going to do the educational component on the Zoom, and then you're going to get to a 1 call close, a 1 Zoom close. You got to understand the objections ahead of time. Now, here's what you want to do. Inside of that closing call, you want to go through your pitch deck and have all your value propositions, value proposition 1, UVP 2, UVP 3. You want to have at least 5 value propositions. Then you want to flip over and you have done research. So when you do your Facebook lead ad, or you get them on the Zoom, or when you're scheduling the Calendly, that's 3 opportunities you've got to grab their link. So that way you can evaluate the property and tell them exactly what you would do for the property to be able to take them from A to B to C. So if you go through and you run it through AirDNA, STR Insights, Rabu, Mashvisor, then you go look at their calendar and do some enemy method revenue research, and you see that they're doing 100 grand. You believe you can take them to 150. Hey, if we can change this in your optimization, this in your listing, this small amount of budget to upgrade your design, maybe get some new photos, whatever that is, then I believe we can get to 150. If I can get you to 150, you're going to make X even after my fees. That's a tremendous investment. So you're done with your sales pitch. You need to ask the golden sales question. If they're not ready to give you a yes, you need to write this down, watch the recording a gazillion times, and memorize this question. If I am fortunate enough to earn your business today, and we're sitting here doing an annual review, what would a successful relationship look like in your eyes? If I am fortunate enough to earn your business today, and we're sitting here doing an annual review, what would a successful relationship look like in your eyes? So now you're emphasizing them, and that's the golden sales question. Then you got to just sit back and shut up and listen, because that's when they're going to tell you everything that was wrong with their previous provider, and they're giving you their objections right now, because if they've had a negative experience with Vacasa or Evolve or anybody else, then they are concerned that they will have that same experience with you. So you need to know the shortcomings of the competitor. You need to ask the golden sales question. You need to let them respond. Then you go in for the close. That's why you want both husband and wife there. That's why you want to have your contract ready. And it's fine. You need to make sure it's right before you're ready to tell them, ask them if they're ready to sign a contract. You need to send it to them. So you want to email that to them. You don't do it at the beginning of the presentation. You don't do it during, you wait till that exact moment. Then say, hey, Bob, can you confirm that that's in your inbox? You want to open that up and make sure it's e-sign, free sign, DocuSign, PandaDoc, whatever. So that way they can easily sign that for you. You got to have everything inside of it. If you don't have a contract, I've got that all in my masterclass. You can get the link right down below. And there's two things that are going to happen here. One, they're going to say, no, I'm not ready. And then you need to be ready for the follow-up sequence. It's one of the reasons I use Market My STR, because I have all of this inside the CRM. And I can funnelize everything. I can automate almost all of this process, from the delivery to the landing page to the Zoom, all of that type of stuff, which is awesome. And Scott Hill has built out the whole co-hosting sales process inside of Market My STR, which is just phenomenal. Makes it super easy for us as co-hosts. So I'm going to go in. If they give me a no, then I'm just going to put them right back into the funnel. I'm going to update their status in the CRM and let the CRM automate, unless I add some notes into the CRM and there were some very specific things that I may not cover inside of the follow-up in my sales process. That's what I call earning the opportunity to follow up. So one of the big things is that you want to make sure that if they give you a no, that you say, okay, Bob, how long do you need to think about this? Let's schedule the time for a follow-up. And by the way, I also want to go over this with you as well. So if you have 7 value propositions for them, you're delivering 3 in the presentation, you need to hold some stuff back that you found in their listing, that you found in their previous property management company. Don't name the property management company, but you need to hold back, because you're going to leverage that to get Bob back on the phone. And if Bob doesn't schedule right on the phone, then you're going to use the other ones to get him back onto a call with you. So you use number 1 if they leave and they're not ready to schedule, and then you use the other 2 to get that scheduled over the next week. If they give you a yes, you go right into implementation. Implementation is contract, fees, credit cards, making sure they have the listing, starting the transfer. And once you get everything done, then it's activation. And if you can go through this process, now we've got a multiple step process, right? We've got Facebook ad lead conversion or sales page conversion. We've got follow-up email. So that's sales step number 2. We're going to have the educational piece. Number 3, we're going to have the follow-up meeting. Number 4, we could have contact delivery. Number 5, if we don't deliver a contract, we could have to follow up once or twice. So you're going to have somewhere between a 5 to 8 step sales process. Here's what I want you. You got to put every lead into your CRM. If you don't have a CRM, Market My STR has all that set up for you. So then go ahead and set up your leads. And we want to track our closing at every step, whether we have 5 steps or 7, so you know where you're closing the highest percentage. So that way we can forecast inside of our pipeline, right? Because and then you want to know the timing. You'll see that in a report right out of Market My STR or your CRM, to where we can go in and see, hey, this is taking an average of 30 days, 45 days. I'm having to put in an extra 2 or 3 follow-ups to actually get this closed. Then your sales process would extend from, say, 5 or 6 steps to 8 or 9 steps. So we want to track that all the way across the board. So understand, in no shape or form did I send a direct mail piece, right? All I'm doing is skip tracing to build my custom audience inside of Facebook. I'm delivering Facebook ads. I'm delivering value inside of the local owners and STR Facebook groups. I'm scheduling a free training session. And then I've got my follow-up process with my presentation, my pitch deck, and also my contract. And then I've planned to be able to get over the objections. The other thing I want you to do, anytime that you get on a call or have any type of discussion with a potential co-hosting client, and they give you the reasons, what I refer to as objections, that they are not ready to buy, and you don't have that on a list, you need to jot it down. It's what we call the objection library. If I give you 1 objection here, then I need three solutions to get around, and you want to document those to where literally you can have a spreadsheet. Over here on the left-hand side, I've got 15 different objections, and over here I have 45 solutions to that. So every objection gets 3 solutions. This is how you close more clients. This is how you target high value. So, but Bill, you didn't talk about exactly what type of properties I should be targeting. So I'm going to use the beach as an example, because I think that's the easiest analogy. Beach, ski, lake, something like that. So beach properties, all you want is beachfront in tier 2. That's it. You specialize in that. Don't take the tier 4 or 5s that just the farther back we get, the less money those properties are going to generate. I don't even care if you can get a 10-bedroom on tier 4. I'd rather have a 3-bedroom beachfront than a 10-bedroom tier 4. Same thing with ski in, ski out, lakefront. You got to be lakefront. No tier twos, right? I don't do motels, I don't do boutiques, I don't do any of that shit because I want the least amount of doors with the highest amount of value and the highest amount of revenue. So I have 9 beach properties that I co-host. All of them are tier 1 and all of them are tier 2, right? So high value. I have lake properties. I have 4 of them or 3 that I co-host, and they range from 6 bedrooms to 12 bedrooms. So I'm looking at the high value, right? And the unique, just like I'm doing when I own and I buy my own properties because I don't want to have more than 10. I currently have 11 right now, co-hosting properties. I literally want to do $1 million just out of 10 properties. And if I can do $1 million out of 10 well, really, actually, that's not right. $2 million in gross revenue out of 10 properties, I can do my $400,000 a year. We're gonna do over that because I'm gonna do almost $1 million just in 2 properties that we've added on this year. So I might hit 2.8 to 3 million in revenue. If I can get to 3, then I'll do 600,000. But I'm actually sharing with one of my mastermind members, Jose Cornejo, on those on the OBX properties. So only making about half of that commission right now. That's just another benefit to being in my mastermind and my inner circle. I actually give you my leads. So hopefully that helps. If I've delivered any value for you, make sure you smash that subscribe button, whether you're listening on the podcast or right here on the YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment down below. You want to take this to the next level, check out the co-hosting masterclass. I'll see you guys on the next episode, or you can go straight to that video right there for more value.